Clicking
Yep.
it now. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tyler Daniels Racing BACC Charities Veterans and First Responders Only League. We are coming to you live tonight from the virtual Michigan International Raceway on the iRacing service. This is Tommy Upside Down Hebert, and joined in the booth, as always, the voice of BACC Sports, Jay Downham.
How you doing, guys out there? Welcome after a week layoff. We're back in Michigan, and what a field we have tonight out there. As 14 drivers have shown up, and if you notice right off the bat, you'll see a familiar name up there, a past champion and a return to TDR. I'd like to welcome Jeremy Gaiman back on track tonight. Tommy, what do you think?
Yeah, tried to get Jeremy on camera, but apparently has not hit the track yet. Don't let that number 9 on the side of his car fool you, because there is another number 9 out there. The number 9, another former champion, Ethan Thompson. So we have Ethan Thompson, former champion in the 9, Jeremy Gaiman returning for race number 5 in the 09, and we've got a third champion out there as well, Devin Zimmerman, currently sitting P2 in that 93.
So, right out of our 7 seasons, you're sitting there looking at just over half of the season champion winners out there racing right up here at the top spot in Michigan. But right behind them, we have Brian Boyd, who has been on a tear lately. He's been just chomping at the bit to try and get his first win of the season. And he is looking good out there, sitting in P4, just about a quarter second off the pace. But he was quick here last season, so he may have something in the tank. Maybe he learned a little bit of something, learn how to be patient. As well as Chuck McDonald, who has also had one win this season as our season opener in Daytona, sitting also up there in top 5. He is also another one that is definitely looking for a championship. Third in points right now, and he's only 13 points separating Devin Zimmerman and Chuck McDonald, with Ethan Thompson kind of splitting them with 170. So top 3 in points there, top 5 on the leaderboard. Brian Boyd right now sits in the 5th position at 141 points, but he has a chance to make it up. So every point matters in this series, and it's easy to give away and harder to get. And now it's getting even harder as we have more and more guys showing up on a daily basis. So it's more of a racing season this year, and I love it. I'm absolutely loving this season. Steven says it is a magical season,
Yeah,
as we can see out there on track.
absolutely. 15 cars, or 15 drivers, I should say, so far registered. 14 of those cars have hit the track. You mentioned Brian Boyd and Chuck McDonald both set some blistering laps just sitting inside the top 5. Both of them currently off track, and I wonder if they might be sharing a couple notes behind the wall there.
It could very well be, but do not forget this is always practice session. These guys, I mean, they got 90 laps tonight, so it's not really a long race. But 90 laps at 2 miles, still 180 miles to go. And, you got to get in the pre-race ceremonies and take care of a couple things, get the drinks set up, get your chair all set up, make sure that the cockpit's looking the way you want it to. And it's going to be, you have to have comfort out there at least for 90 laps around Michigan. It's a fast track, so it's tight, it's fast. There's a couple of spots that can get you. Off of turn number 2, you can go high, smack that outside wall. That's going to be a trouble spot, as we've heard from a couple of drivers pre-race. And then going down into turn number 1, you can overshoot that, and that'll put you up in the wall. So that's going to be a good passing opportunity for these guys. It's a slippery track. It's one of the older ones, and at 2 miles, it's that intermediate track. Doesn't know whether it wants to be a mile and a half, and doesn't know whether it wants to be a super speedway, but it definitely provides for some exciting racing around here. If these guys catch the draft, you see a little bit of that going down the back stretch, down the front stretch. Bunch of things playing out, but I gotta just point out, then just pay attention to the number 12 there, or in the 12th position out there is Robert Cochran. Now, Robert Cochran here, he may be sitting back there. He's only a half a second off of this, but he has led some laps here. This is one of his stronger tracks. He has a lot of confidence going in. I believe Jim a couple seasons ago, or maybe last season, said that Robert Cochran was a favorite to win here. So just keep an eye on him tonight. He may be a sleeper, and he may be an upset and closer to the front, more towards the middle to the end of the field, or
Yeah.
end of the night. So it's something to just keep an eye on.
Michigan's definitely one of his preferred tracks to run on. It's his kind of style. It's a longer type of race. There's a lot of room out there to really make things happen, but This is one of those races where it's you and your car versus the track, kind of pacing your laps, trying to manage your tire wear, manage your fuel. Robert Cochran is as good as anybody at doing that, so I would expect to see him running up front tonight. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, and we've seen more yellows than usual lately as the driver field has increased.
Yeah, last couple weeks ago there at Dover, I think we saw more yellows thrown in that race than we've seen all season 5, 6, and 7 combined up to that point. So there was a lot of cautions that people weren't expecting. Totally threw off everybody's race. But you got to stay there till the end, and then that's what happened. And Brian Boyd just happened to have a miscue going down in the pit road, or that could have been his race to win there too. So. Um, Once again, pit stops are the Achilles heel of these drivers, but I think they're going to pull it all together. This isn't like yeah, it's kind of in between a mixture of Daytona. You got to come off of turn number 4, get into the brakes, but you're not heavily braking going down pit road. So the thing is going to be overshooting your pit here, or that would be the only thing that I can see these guys doing, just maybe overshooting it just a little bit there and backing up. Other than that, they should be fine on pit stops tonight. If they're green flag, of course, if we have cautions, it's going to totally change everything tonight.
Yeah, we should need at least one stop for fuel here. I believe the fuel tanks are set to 90% for this shortened event to 90 laps. Stage points are awarded at lap 25 and lap 50. Stage points are something new we brought to the season, and we've seen that bring a lot of excitement to the middle of the races. The guys know when those laps are coming by. You'll see that intensity pick up at about, a quarter of the way and halfway through the event. I don't think they're going to have a ton of trouble on pit road, but I do think they're going to want tires. After talking to Andrew Bisnett down on pit road, we know the right front can wear out here, kind of make the car push a little bit, get a little bit tight, kind of force it up the track towards that wall that you mentioned earlier, Jay, where you can have some trouble out there. So tires are going to be important, fuel's going to be important, especially if we stay green from green flag to checkers.
Yeah, and this is one of those races. This isn't like Dover. Dover, you had more of that slippery slope up the top there, and Miles really bit a lot of cars. Took a lot of carnage with them during that race. Michigan, yeah, you're going to have a little bit of a tightness, but you have a more of an opportunity to kind of gently get on that brake and pull yourself off the wall. I don't think we're going to see too many cautions tonight, if any. If I'd say a minimal, maybe 2 max on the night would be, if I was going to say anything as far as pre-race about where we could be. But we're at the 4-minute mark. Tommy, I think we got a few sponsors we need to take care of before we sit down and concentrate on the rest of this race here.
We sure do. First and foremost, all the support they've given TDR and their host of leagues over the past couple of years. Makoni Setup Shop, guys, go check them out. MakoniSetupShop.com. They've got setups, how-to guides, tutorial videos, personal driver coaching, apparel. What else? They just started their own broadcasting service over at Makoni Entertainment Shop, so they really do have everything you need, whether you're driving as your own or running a league. They do have the stuff to help you guys do what you do better. Their setups, your victories. MakoniSetupShop.com. And of course, B&B Wraps. They've provided all of the season trophies through the first 6 seasons and have committed to season 7 as well. Facebook.com/B.B Racing Wraps. Check him out. They don't just do iRacing wraps. Actually, he doesn't even have time to do iRacing wraps anymore. He's generated so much real-world business. He wraps real race cars, helmets, small engines, work vehicles, pretty much anything you have that you can have a vinyl applied to, they can do it. Facebook.com/B.B Racing Wraps. From coffee cups to semi-trucks, B&B Wraps can get it done for you. And of course, BACC Charities. Help them keep the fun funded by giving back with BACC at BACCcharities.com. This is a little something that Andy and I started last year just to kind of give the dollars some direction and help make the dollars make sense. If you'd like what we're putting on here and would like to contribute to some of the other stuff we do over at TDR, make a contribution at BACCcharities.com. We've got 2 fundraising events coming up. We have the Cards for the Troops event coming up in December. And sometime later this month, we should have a teddy bear race where we will be able to give some teddy bears to some children in need. And, of course, Tyler Daniels Racing.
In which we run 7 nights a week at 8 o'clock every night at 8 p.m. On Sunday nights is the Gas and Go series. Monday nights, as always, right here is the Vet series. On Tuesday nights is our most popular series, the Tuesday Truckin' Series. On Wednesday nights, we race Xfinities. On Thursday nights is now featuring the SR8s at short tracks and a couple of road courses. And on Friday nights, as usual, right now we're doing Friday nights Evolve. That's just an Evolve series. It's the trucks as well, Grander trucks. But starting December 2nd, we are going to go back to street stock racing on Friday nights. So it's going to be back to Friday Night Lights Under the Lights. On Saturday mornings is the only time that Tyler Daniels Racing does do anything in the morning, and that would be the Legend Series at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then at 8 o'clock at night, hosts the 87s, old school racing on old school tracks, and it's been very popular, and everybody's been having a lot of fun with it. So, yes, if you're looking for something to do every night at 8 o'clock, come on out and join us at Tyler Daniels Racing. You can go find us on Facebook, get signed up for any league that you would like. If you know of anybody who else is a good driver, or just wants to come out and have fun, absolutely tell them to go to and join our Facebook at Tyler Daniels on the Facebook and sign up for the leagues there.
Absolutely. And of course, a big thank you to our heroes at home and abroad for fighting for our freedoms and allowing us to do what we do every night, and everyone at home watching on YouTube supporting your drivers out there. We really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and the notification button so you never miss a race.
And don't forget to share as well, because these are veterans, these are first responders, these are guys that are out there putting their lives on the line for us, so we like to give back to them. So if you know of anybody who may be interested, you can go ahead and share it with them and say this is what we do, and this is just a part of what TDR is, and if they are a vet or first responder, they can come out and sign up and get out here again, as we got now 15 drivers on the track. So 15 drivers on the field, 16, 15, 14 seconds. It's almost like the countdown has begun here. As we're looking at Randy Lupidus, and that number 12, it seems to be, that's another new name that we have. I haven't seen anything from Randy Lupidus, or Lapidus.
No,
Lapidus?
he just got signed up tonight. Car passed inspection just a few moments ago. We see him taking a couple of quick laps as the checkered flag does fly over practice, and we will head into qualifying. I'll try to keep up with the cars as they come on track.
Well, it's going to be a fun night out there, absolutely. And we reach out to our YouTube channel, Jim Downham, who is one of the premier admins here in TDR right now. Good luck tonight to our vets, active duty men, and first responders. Welcome back, Jeremy Gaiman, 09. Great to see you. Jessica Vosberg reaches out. Missed you guys. Happy we were all back in racing tonight. Absolutely. We missed you too. Good to see you out there, Jessica. And she's going to be cheering on her husband, Paul Vosberg. Bradley Hunt, who just bought a house out there, so I'm glad to see him out there, and I'm not sure, I didn't see him on track, so we need to get him up and running here, back out there. Good to see you out there, Brad. Andy Biz, that's BizNet. Have fun tonight, everyone. Welcome back, Jeremy. And Tina Miller, good luck, guys. Team Zimmerman is here, so Devin Zimmerman's family is out there, and you're going to cheer him on, and he has a pretty good shot tonight, as he not really letting too much go from the word go. He pretty much been on top of the leaderboard since we've come on air.
Yeah, we just cycled through about the first 10 cars to hit the track here in qualifying. Devin Zimmerman was the first car out, so will be the first car to put a lap time down. And about 9 guys chasing him down right now. A few other guys do like to qualify a little bit later. We know the drivers meeting for these guys does happen about the last 2 minutes of qualifying, so let's see where these guys start sorting in. I think Devin should be coming around for his first lap time right about now. That'll put him P1, but we'll see if anybody can knock him off that throne.
It's going to be a tight field. I suspect if top 5 are going to be within a mere half a second of each other, and then that on back to within a second and a half in between that and the rest of the field. So it's going to be a tight field, as you got a .03 as Jeremy Gaiman lays down. Jason Hall's on top.
Jason Hall
he
on
knocks
top.
off there. Andrew Biznet is right there within a quarter second. Robert McDonald under a half a second.
And Jason Hall, I believe he was a part-timer. It seems like he's been able to make it to the track more consistently here. If he's able to do so through the rest of the season, this could be someone to watch for points.
Absolutely, he was a tight one to watch over there at Dover. So you just got to keep an eye on Jason Hall, see how he goes out there tonight. And there's that lime green, pink, and camouflage car that you love so much here, Tommy. That's like one of your favorite schemes.
I don't know much about fashion, but I know that ain't it.
We should get a T-shirt just for you for that one there. And there's a number 68. Normally running a yellow. He's running a blue scheme tonight. So that's Andrew Spears. Andrew Spears out there in the W car.
Yeah, currently sitting P5. Paul Vosberg, well, just completed his qualifying. He was just outside the top 5 in P6.
Yeah, he's only what less than a half a second to the leader. So I mean, it's a tight field so far. Even the top 10 are within a half a second exactly. Look at Robert McDonald, Luke Desjardins in the 8th and 9th spot are still within a half a second in the lead. So
Just about everybody who's pulled on those first 9 cars or so, 10 cars, have now completed their laps. So we're still waiting on lap times from newcomer Randy Lapidus. Lapidus?
Lapidus, I'm gonna say
La-
Lapidus. So Lapidus. So we're gonna wait
Lapidus.
for.
I wonder if that's Greek. Still waiting on some lap times, it looks like, from Chuck McDonald, Ethan Thompson, Brian Boyd, Todd Danbury, all yet to qualify. So we'll see if they're able to come out there and upset. And you said a half a second through the top 5, Jay. We're looking at half a second all the way back to 9th.
They surprised me a little bit better off. So that just shows the quality of the field we have tonight. As the top 9 are within a half a second of the lead. So that's definitely going to be some tight racing, pack racing, especially through the first part of this. I see how if they can go green flag through the first pit stop. Pit stops are usually what separates everybody on these things, whether it's here or the super speedways and things like that. And there's
Brian Boyd now entering the track, followed by Todd Danbury and Chuck McDonald just behind those two.
yeah, and Chuck's back into his Forces, Canadian Forces car. So
yeah, that's my personal opinion. That's my favorite paint scheme he runs. That metallic red really just sets that Mustang off.
yeah, it's a very good looking Canadian Forces car. Notice I did say Canadian. I'm getting better at this time.
Now what's Brian Boyd got on the hood of the what I would normally call the Mission 2278?
So Mission 22, he's just got a special scheme up there, the Mighty Warriors. It's a special scheme that he is running tonight. I'm on the side of his hood there on Mark Breer, who is one of the first Navy SEALs. And he in battle ended up being the hero. He jumped on one of his buddies, got out of the way, and took a hit, and it ended up killing him. And he saved his platoon mate. So, kind of along with the Mission 22, but the Warriors and Navy SEAL just put his life on the line for his brother. And Brian Boyd is out there just honoring that group. And they are also ones kind of in line to any warrior that's out there that is going through struggles and things of that nature. It's kind of a nonprofit as well that helps raise money to help pay for the services that they need.
Yeah, things that go hand in hand with the Mission 22, and I see he still is rocking that on the rear quarter panels there. Todd Danbury still unsponsored in that 069.
Yeah, he's
We gotta get this guy a Twitter account or something. He puts up a lot of speed, just can't seem to get a logo on that car.
That's right. But hey, you know what? You got to go out there. You got to show them up, and you bring what you can. But it's good to see him out there anyway, just out there running and get with these guys. And yeah, he can be a sleeper too. I mean, you never know anywhere well, this will come from. But Randy Lapidus, he just put in it, so he's listening to us. So sorry, Randy. Good to see you out there. It is Lapidus.
Lapidus.
So that's it. Lapidus. All right. So not qualifying today, starting from the rear. Just wanted to stay alive tonight. All right. Well,
it doesn't
new
hurt to
guy
play
out.
itself. It doesn't hurt to play it safe with all these big names out there that are putting in a lot of speed. So we wish you the best of luck, Randy, if you're still out there listening.
Absolutely. Well, 15 guys on track. I mean, it's fun. Very fun to watch out there. And man, Robin Pardon came back out tonight. Could see Robin out there, and then
Yeah,
14
Captain Paul's out there too.
Captain Paul put down a nice lap in 7th. I mean, he had a great run in Dover. He's been doing well. Look at it, just under half a second from the leader there. So he got a nice little shot. Yeah, I think he finished top 5 as well. So he could possibly pull himself back up there and get some more points. And like I said, just got to get out there and run. And once you learn these tracks, learn these guys that you're racing, and learn their tendencies, you can get up there and you can be pretty racy with them. So Brian Boyd finished 8th. Robert Cochran there in 9th. And Robert McDonald, Luke Desjardins, all within a half a second of the leader back to 11. Todd Danbury is just over that.
Yeah, that's another
And
two numbers you can't confuse there. Robert McDonald is in that 010, and Luke Desjardins is in the number 10.
yeah, the 010 and the 10. So
It makes it a lot easier to compare when they qualify right next to each other like that on the scoreboard.
well, to be honest, I'm glad Chuck McDonald and Robert McDonald didn't qualify together. I'd be really confused trying to call who was who going through the first turn there. So
Yeah. Or heaven forbid Robert's name was like Charlie and we had two C McDonalds running around. Oh, about
yeah,
a minute and a half left, half a second gap all the way back to 11th. So even in qualifying, those times are pretty tight. And we've seen with the next gen cars on tracks where we expect these cars to for the drivers to spread out. I don't think we're going to see that tonight like we normally would at Michigan. I think these guys are going to stay pretty tight, especially when it comes to those stage points at lap 25 and lap 50.
absolutely. But you know what name? Oh, there it is. Okay, I was gonna say I didn't see Ethan Thompson put down a lap either, but he's just put one down, and he's only 20,
Oh,
just under a quarter a second. So he's out there in 5th right
I'm sorry.
now.
I just saw that light up. Yeah, Ethan Thompson on
He's
track now.
taking a late run. He's taking a late run. So
And
let's see if he can
that
top
was his
that out.
cold lap, so we'll see what his hot lap looks like as long as he doesn't kiss the wall up there. And who are we kidding? This guy's pretty good. One of the 3 champions on track currently.
Back-to-back series champion, only 2-time champion in the series so far, but there's only 7 of them. So as
And
far as
he
championships
went
go,
from
this is really
P6 to the pole, cold lap to hot lap. So Ethan's out
and
there
just
putting it down.
1/1000th of a second. So I mean, he really just
Yeah.
almost the same lap there as Zimmerman.
And we mentioned earlier the return of Jeremy Gaiman. I believe he was the season 3 champion of the TDR Veterans and First Responders League, and we have 3 returning champions sitting 1, 2, 3 after qualifying with 10 seconds to the green.
That's 3, 4, 5, and 6 right there.
Yep.
So season 3 and 3rd, right?
Yep.
4th is 4th season Devin Zimmerman. 5,
Yep.
6 Ethan Thompson.
Yeah.
So
Now the only returning champion that has 2 championships is on the pole. I want everyone to take note of that.
he has been quick. I mean, that new DroneWorks car, that is a slick looking car.
Yes, it is.
We're just seeing him in the Civil Air Patrol, so but man, he is definitely looking like very fast. I love that little number 9. That's a good little scheme. That whole black and blue with the Thompson DroneWorks on the hood.
Absolutely.
And right behind him
right
is
next to
Devin
him.
Zimmerman.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'll let you
Mission
run through 'em.
22 car. Yeah, Mission 22 and on Toyota Camry. Everybody knows this gentleman is Devin Zimmerman in number 93, and then next to him is, like we said, season 3 champion, running the throwback. So if you've been with us for a while, you will definitely know that car right there, the U.S. Army Olive Drab 09 of Jeremy Gaiman. Behind him was Jason Hall, who's been running the WWE scheme, and he's been putting on his show. There's Andrew Bisnet and the Tyler Daniels Racing bright green, pink, and camouflage number 1 car.
Well, if you don't grid in time, Chuck, we're not able to show off your sponsors, so we're gonna go jump right ahead to the 68.
Yep, the 68 of Andrew Spears there in 7th position. Also another Toyota Camry,
Oh,
W,
there's
and right
Chuck.
next to him is Chuck in the the Canadian Forces car. So
We've already talked about how good that
Ford
car
Mustang.
looks.
Yeah. Captain Paul Vosberg, another Toyota Camry out there, number 21. He's looking good on the field, starting 8th tonight, so he's got a good starting position. And then in the 9th position is Brian Boyd in the Mighty Warriors. America's Mighty Warriors, like I said, we just went through that a little bit earlier. And then there's Robert Cochran. Keep an eye on this gentleman tonight, starting 10th. He's within a half a second of the lead, has a lot of confidence going in here. Another Ford Mustang driver, so... And then there's Robert McDonald in the 10th position. I can't really see who's on the hood for that one there, but that's our Chevrolet Camry. And then there is Luke Desjardins, our French-Canadian driver, Also French military police. So he's an MP, dropping in 12th position.
Very good.
Todd Danbury out there in that Chevrolet looking orange and white car. 069 on the hood and on the side there. And then there is Robin Pardon in the Mobile 1 Ford Mustang. Another part of our part-time drivers. And there is Randy Lapidus.
Ooh,
and the
Gravedigger.
Gravedigger. Yep, be another Ford Mustang driver. So we got a few more Fords here in Michigan. So that would all make Ford happy, considering that's one of their home tracks here up here as we get ready to go green. Pace car is out on the field. Ethan Thompson, Devin Zimmerman, Jeremy Gaiman, Jason Hall, Andrew Bisnet, Chuck McDonald, Andrew Spears, Paul Weisberg, Brian Boyd, Robert Cochran getting ready to take that green flag as green is in the air. And there goes Ethan Thompson. Devin Zimmerman's not wasting any time trying to get back to that line. And at the line, it looks like it's going to be Devin Zimmerman just above. I'm wondering if he maybe got a little bit of a slow start there. Ethan Thompson normally dumps out, but as they go side by side down into turn number 1, we see Jason Hall get really, really high. That's going to open up the door for Andrew Bisnet, Chuck McDonald, Andrew Spears to get back up in that thing as they're starting to sort out right now. Ethan Thompson, as we see now, Devin Zimmerman is going to look on that inside, kind of fall back a little bit. And there you can run 3 different lines here. Most people prefer the middle to upper line. Is going to save a little bit of tire, but not that much, as we've got them diving down underneath
Chuck
right
McDonald stuck in the middle here.
there. Yeah, Chuck McDonald got
don't want to
in,
be peanut butter or jelly.
No, and that was we see before. Brian Boyd did this last time that we were here. Jumped from like 8th to 1st, led a few laps, and then his car started to fade back a little bit. So he's got a fast early speed. Let's just hope that he can maintain it up there. As we got another fight up here. Now we got the number 64, Jason Hall, fighting for the top spot going into turn number 3 and 4. And he has it by a clear lead. Going to take that high line. But then you got Ethan Thompson underneath. Got a good little run. Going to close the gap. But no, looks like Jason Hall's going to lead him down. Actually lead a lap here. And lap number 2 of 90. Lap number
There's a point.
3, Jason. Yeah, Jason Hall is now out to an early lead. Got around a couple of the top guys there. So Ethan Thompson, Devin Zimmerman now falling back at good run for Jason Hall going right now as he's taking that outside lane, which could be a preferred lane if you can actually make it work and stick, but you're going to use your tires after a while up there because that's a little bit more turning and you're using a little more RPM. You're able to maintain it, but you're going to use up more of your tires. Like I said, like the middle where Ethan is running, that's about where you're preferred to save a little bit of tires. You're going to let the car roll through, but Jason Hall's definitely, as we got a 3-way battle right now. Brian Boyd he's getting into Devin. Those two are getting in there with Jeremy Gaiman on the outside. And here comes Andrew Spears. Man, that's a tight situation there. I'm not sure Devin just backed out of that, said you guys have at it right now. I'm just going to collect myself back up.
Not on lap 4.
Yeah, it's too early for that, so I'll just fall back here in line. And once again, there's Brian Boyd now taking it up right up to the back bumper of Ethan Thompson going down into turn number 3. He's going to take it 3 wide, almost 4 wide.
Robert Cochran.
There's Robert coming up through the field. Like I said, he had a lot of confidence going in, but man, there's a lot of 2-3 wide racing through the back of the pack. Devin Zimmerman's going to dive down low, try and go underneath of Robert Cochran. Not going to get that run, but right up front as we got Brian Boyd now fighting for the lead. Brian's going to go take that low side down in turn number 1. Jason is just running up that track. I don't know, his car doesn't seem to want to work down at the bottom side, but he does take it up top. He gets a lot of that speed.
Yeah, a little contact
Brian
there
Boyd now to the
between
front.
Robert
Ethan
Cochran
Thompson.
and Ethan Thompson as well.
Ethan Thompson now falls back. Just a little bit. Robert Cochran right there in the second position. As we've got now Devin Zimmerman collects his thoughts back up. He's getting around Ethan Thompson. So Ethan Thompson's starting to fade a little bit. Maybe he's trying to. Ooh, Ethan Hick just taps that outside wall.
Well, I noticed when Robert Cochran and Ethan made a little bit of contact there, I do believe Ethan came up and did touch that wall slightly. I don't know if it affected the performance of the car at all, but that might be a little bit of why we see him fading back a little bit. Just a little too dicey for him coming into lap 7 here at the line.
Yeah, it's a little bit too tight for him right now, and I'm not sure where that would even come from because he had to put down one heck of a lap there in qualifying. As they're going down the backstretch here for lap number 6 of 90, and we've got Andrew Spears right there underneath of Ethan Thompson, looking for kind of hard to keep up with all this in for 5th position right now. As man, these guys are just.
Chuck McDonald down on the inside, making it look easy, but he had to give it all back.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks where I mean you can get yourself up there in a hurry, but you can also fade in a hurry as well. So we're just gonna have to kind of keep an eye on where everybody falls in this. But man, there's a lot of racing early. These guys are just racing to that lap 25. But
Yeah,
there's a
back
little
up
bit of
front,
separation now.
Brian Boyd still leading. Robert Cochran now looking to challenge.
Yeah, Robert Cochran has got a roll right now. Robert Cochran is now going to go underneath. He's going to dive and take that position away from Brian Boyd. So
See if he can
coming
hold
back
it
to the
off
line.
here.
Out of turn number 4, it looks like he's got it around. Oh, here comes Brian Boyd back on the inside. Dive it down low at the line. It's going to be Boyd just by
About half a car
nose.
length there.
Just by a nose, but man, Robert Cochran's looking really racy early. He really likes this track. He knows how to get around here. That's one to watch. So it could be.
We said it
between
early
these-
on. One of his favorite tracks. He's going to be one to watch. It's almost like we know what we're talking about up here.
And see, Andrew Spears though, he's made a run to the front too. But you got a lot of these guys that fell back in that second pack there right now.
Jump back a little bit, see if I can try to keep all 3 of these guys on screen.
As Brian Boyd now goes to the front, Robert Cochran's really not letting him go. Andrew Spears is just watching and waiting to see if he has an opportunity to maybe get his name up there on top of the leaderboard.
I believe
And
Andrew
lead one of
Spears
these
has podiumed the last 2 races. I do recall interviewing this gentleman a couple times. A great interviewer. I believe he's out of North Alabama. So, you know,
Yes.
roll Tide. I heard Bama lost this weekend, so maybe he's trying to make up for that.
Maybe. But man, those guys are looking really racy up front. But Boyd is definitely making it proud up there in that first position. He did lead laps early, but now he just needs to maintain it and maintain that speed and not overdrive the car, overwork it, and then let this pack come back to him.
Yeah, Brian Boyd's still winless on the season, but he is not he's not unfamiliar with being in first place for sometimes a majority of the race, so we could expect him to lead this for a while. And they do have those pit stops to contend with. We're 10 laps in now. I believe the tires are probably about 10% worn on that right front. So they're going to start being a little tighter, pushing up the track up a little bit, and they're going to start thinking about rubber, and they're definitely going to be thinking about fuel
Spin! We
strategy.
got a spin, and Chuck McDonald gets into. There was a spin back there. Chuck McDonald,
Let's see if I
somebody
can
came down and.
Back it up real quick. Looks like Jeremy Gaiman.
No, it's not Gaiman. It was the 0-1-0 of Robert McDonald. So the Chuck McDonald Robert right there, because there's Gaiman on the outside.
Good job, Robert, keeping that thing together.
There
Let's
it
see
is.
if I can back
All
that
right,
up
so
again. He was
Caution lap 11.
He was into Chuck there, got completely 90 degrees sideways, and somehow
Jordan
didn't end up in the
tapped that
fence or in the
obstacle.
grass. Very good job by Robert Cochran keeping that together through all that.
Yeah, so whew, what a. Yeah, Robert McDonald definitely had a spin there, so it brings out the caution lap number 11. So first one of the night looks like we've got Brian Boyd has raced his way to the front, and Robert Cochran's right there, Andrew Spears, and then Devin Zimmerman back and forth, Ethan Thompson, Jeremy Gaiman 6, Jason Hall, Chuck McDonald, Todd Danbury, Andrew Bisnetter, your top 10. Running in 11th is Paul Vosberg, Luke Desjardins.
Oh,
Back to
68 coming in
12.
hot.
Yeah, he's just over, yeah.
Gonna have to give those spots back, buddy.
Andrew Spears, yeah. I mean, it's one of those deals.
Well, that's
Yep.
12 of 90 at the line that time by. That'll all get sorted in behind the pace car here. I don't think we're going to get a pit stop this early, but these guys have proved us wrong before, so we'll see what happens as the pace car rolls around, and I believe pits will open next time by.
Yeah, pit should maybe even this time by as they get themselves wrapped up. It looks like the field is all together, so they may open the pits on this time by. We'll have to see, but tires could be a premium, as we've heard that they do wear off.
And we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The whole field is gonna bring it down here.
Oh, somebody just overshot that. That might have been Gaiman. Jeremy Gaiman might have gotten a little hot and had to choke up a little bit on
See
that.
what I can do about a pit lane camera here. Yeah. That'll show everybody coming down there.
So the pace car leads another lap here at lap 13 as these guys are go down in pit road. Who's going to win it off? Did anybody overshoot their pit? Looks like everybody pretty much got to their pit stall on time.
I didn't see any choking. Looks like that was a splash and go for.
Looked like maybe 2 tires right there. As who is off pit road? Is
That's
that
Robert Cochran?
Robert Cochran wins it off a pit road by a long shot. Look like he only got 2 tires there. Wow, so Robert Cochran's now going to come out there and he's going to lead the field. So good stop, good strategy. Hopefully it's one that'll work, and I'm sure he's thought about this. Like I said, he's got a lot of confidence going in here. This is where he shines, and we shall see if he can hold him off. But
Yeah.
absolutely good job out there.
Come by the line here and we'll get an accurate count of how they rolled off of pit road. But looking, Robert Cochran up front. I'm waiting for next car to come in behind him because we won't get the live timing until they cross the start-finish line. Andrew Bisnet. Looks like he's going to be out P2 from the pits.
Yeah, Bisnet moved up. He might have taken 2 tires as well.
Brian Boyd, first in, third out. As we come by the line here, the scoreboard will update and everything will be accurate, and I expect we'll see the lights go off on that pace car as well.
Yep, should be one to go next time by. As they hit the line,
and it's
just running on a...
interesting timing on that yellow because it's about halfway to the awarding of the first stage point. So I would expect this next 8th of the race to be as exciting as the first 8th, if not more.
Yeah, it should be just exciting. Those guys are really racy up there. Nobody's really letting anything go. Like I said, points are really tight as it is. And then you throw stage points in and this close, and these guys are racing and they can see the guy in front of them. Nobody's really driving away with it. And we've seen quite a handful of, lead changes tonight.
Yeah, great job by Chuck McDonald being able to stay just outside the top 5 after that contact with Robert McDonald. Jeremy Gaiman, heck of a performance at his first time back here in over 4 seasons. So he's been out a couple seasons. We're glad to have him back, sitting just inside the top 5, kind of making a statement.
Absolutely, and it's good to see some of the older names out there. And we miss Jeremy out there. He he did a great job, and now he's back at it, and let's see what he can do. And he's a champion, and we know he can race, and he can stay up there, so it's all good. Ian Roberts writes in, yeah, Paul, so... And Sharon O'Neill, Sister Sookie kind of chimes in, good evening to all, under the weather tonight. Welcome back to Jeremy, I'm your #1 fan. Yeah, she was the #1 fan for Jeremy for the time that he was out here. Barbara Lou chimes in, hi guys, and Jim Down writes in, great racing so far, nice to see some different names running up front early.
As they go back green, Robert Cochran got the jump on all of them there, kind of left them in the dust. Brian Boyd into the inside of Bisnet now with Andrew Spears sniffing at their bumper.
Absolutely, and oh no, there it goes. Brian Boyd's getting loose. Can he hold on to it? And that's going to be dangerous with that entire pack chasing them down. That's like a pack of wolves chasing a gazelle, man. They are just after him, and now you got to just gather it back up. But he was running early. As he's going to go 3 wide down into turn number 3 and 4. They get sorted out here. Get those tires up to temperature. It may help him out in a longer run here if he did take 4 tires. But yeah, as you can see, they're a little bit loose on that on the colder tires. But man, what a run that Cochran has on the field right now. He's got just about 3/4 of a second lead over Bisnet. As you see Jeremy Gaiman now trying to get up there and put his name and say, hey, I'm back and I'm going to make a statement as he passes Bisnet now for that 2nd position. As those two swap, and now you got Brian Boyd is going to dive bomb it down there into turn number 3, try and get that position away from Bisnet. Boyd is hungry. Boyd is definitely hungry. He is like that line. He just wants to pounce on anything that if you're in front of him, he's pouncing that car and going to take everything that he can get.
Like we said, very familiar with running up front. Still has yet to get a win now. The 5th race into this season in season 7.
Yeah, it's Andrew Spears right there. He's another one. I mean, just been steady all night. I mean, he's having a really good run Led a couple laps, run up front early, really stayed in the top 5 since dropping the green flag. Maybe fell back out of it once or twice. But definitely has a good car tonight, as we see now. Jeremy Gaiman coming up on the inside, and he's going to get underneath the Robert Cochran. Those are two old-time TDR.
Been here a long time.
Yeah, there they go, back to the line. So I'm sure both of them are smiling. It looks like Jeremy Gaiman is going to grab the lap.
He grabbed the point there.
Did he get it? No, it's saying that Robert Cochran had the
wow.
line. I don't know. I think the timing was off on that, because it did look like Gaiman did have it, but now he's definitely got it as they go down the backstretch. So Jeremy Gaiman up front.
In a tight spot here. He was just in between the 69 and 78 there. It looks like they sorted that out while we were watching all the action up front.
Yeah,
There's action everywhere.
There is action everywhere. As now Robert Cochran is not going to let Jeremy get away with it. Oh, he falls back in line. I thought he had a little bit of a run, but just had to get on the brakes just a little bit and let them by. But man, even there, just 2 by 2 racing, 3 wide, 2 wide, 3 wide throughout the course of the pack. We need like a blimp. We need like 3 or 4 in-car picture-in-picture to catch all the action tonight, because it is something really racing. Is there 19 now? They got what, 7 laps to go, 6 laps to go before those first stage points. As you see, Brian Boyd is just pushing his way. He wants them points. He can feel it. As you see, Chuck McDonald as well, just
3 wide
pushing
again.
on back. Andrew Bisnet to the outside. Andrew Spears going to dive up. Ooh, 3 wide. That does not work. We've seen that. And Andrew Spears, I thought was going to tag him, but goes back up. And he's going to collect Ethan Thompson now right there in that draft. And that's going to kind of leave Chuck hanging out to dry with that draft a little bit, but they should be able to get it back going down the back stretch here. Jeremy Gaiman now has been out front for a couple laps. Robert Cochran gets
contact with the wall there.
Yeah, it looked like Cochran, as we got 3 wide for the lead, almost 4 going down into turn number 3 here. Robert Cochran gets one heck of a run. There's Boyd on the outside. Here comes Chuck McDonald. Jeremy Gaiman starting to fade. Went from 1st to 4th, 5th. I mean, look at these guys just racing it. I think it was the last lap, as Robert Cochran is not going to be denied. Puts his name back up front. Puts that Navy guy, letting them fellers know that, hey, Navy is very strong here in Michigan. This is my track. If you want it, you're going to have to beat me. And there's Chuck McDonald right there. We know through past experiences, Chuck McDonald and Robert Cochran have been battling for season after season for every point. And now Robert's making his statement here known. He's like, Chuck got the win, now it's my turn. As you got Brian Boyd up there underneath Chuck. They've still been racing a couple laps here, side by side, 2-3 wide, racing still in the back there.
Yeah, Brian Boyd, relative newcomer, but you would think he'd been racing with these guys forever. The way he shows up, kind of the respect that Brian Boyd has given on track versus some of the other new names that you see out there. Brian Boyd really did make a statement during his first couple appearances. Now that he's full-time here in Season 7, you can really see him putting that car to work and making some of those other drivers nervous, I'm willing to bet.
Yeah, it's, and he's another name that you're going to look up at the leaderboard. In the first couple of seasons, everybody knows everybody, and you see a few new ones. But, man, when you start to see names that are constantly starting to be up front, like Chuck McDonald this season has been up front.
Speaking of Chuck McDonald being up front.
There he goes around. Robert Cochran. Is it going to be at the line? Looks like Robert has this lap. Oh, let's see. Chuck McDonald did get the point. He did lead that long.
0.00 at the line. Yeah, look at that. Ethan Thompson starting to work his way into that top 5 picture.
Yeah, Ethan Thompson is like, hey, look, guys, I'm a champion here. You guys are making me look bad. I got to get up there and make my name known. We're coming up on stage points 2 to go before the stage ends. And right now, I mean,
Robert Cochran looking to the inside again.
Here comes Devin Zimmerman as well. So there's Devin Zimmerman now looking up under Ethan Thompson. Going to take it 3 wide with Andrew Spears coming out of turn number 3. There's enough room, but there, Robert Cochran. Here goes Chuck McDonald with that crossover move. Andrew Spears is now on the outside on top of Ethan Thompson. Devin Zimmerman at the line. Again, Andrew Spears grabs 3rd. Ethan Thompson 4th. Devin Zimmerman 5th. As Thompson did get around. Looks like there's a good view of everybody racing.
Well, here is the lap for the points here. As they come down the backstretch, next time at the line, stage points will be awarded to the car up front.
As Chuck McDonald comes down, he's going to lead it, but is Robert Cochran going to take the outside? Yeah, Robert's taking that outside.
Yeah, the momentum might work for him. He's made that outside work.
That looks like he got a little bit too high. Just drug that outside wall.
get to the outside of him.
Oh, we got
At
a
the line.
oh! Ethan Thompson goes down, almost takes it, and at the line is going to be Robert Cochran gets the stage points over Chuck McDonald, Ethan Thompson, Devin Zimmerman, and Andrew Spears. Wow. Brian Boyd, Robert McDonald, Andrew Bisnet, Jeremy Game, and Paul Vosberg. Our top 10 at the, and that's your stage 1.
Yeah, valuable points awarded there for sure to Robert Cochran, someone who has yet to win again this season, but has been up front a lot. Got to get a handful of points there, and less points handed out to the 9 drivers behind him, and they're still racing hard.
Yes, they are. They're not letting this go whatsoever. A lot of good racing out there. Putting on one heck of a show out there tonight as they got 3 wide racing back there between Jeremy Gaiman, looks like, or maybe that was Robert McDonald. Robert McDonald back there going 3 wide. Yeah, there's 2 or that drab, the green drab car is kind of a throw off there, especially from a longer shot. But no, it looks like, yeah, Robert McDonald, as these guys are starting to, I thought they were going to fall back in line as we see Devin Zimmerman now fighting his way around Andrew Spears, trying to catch up to Ethan Thompson now. And there's Brian Boyd, who had a good early run speed, but kind of faded just a little bit back to 5th, and looks like he's losing some spots there. So I'm not sure if he might have got a little bit overdrove the car, but, or maybe he's just calmed down a little bit and before he gets another run. But man, Robert Cochran out there really putting on his show. It's now got Ethan Thompson and Devin Zimmerman just hunting them down. Andrew Spears right there, Brian Boyd, Robert McDonald, Chuck McDonald, Andrew Bisnet, Jeremy Gaiman are like right there ready. Should something happen, as we see now Ethan Thompson gets down underneath Robert Cochran. He's going to try and get a lap led here again, take over that top spot where he sat on the pole, and on lap number 27 is going to work his way back, but he's got a hard charging there. Devin Zimmerman on the bottom and Andrew Spears. And they're just not letting anybody get easy here. As we see Robert Cochran now just kind of watching these two just try and go at it. And slow and steady, man. Just stay steady out there. Just hold it. Hold it up there, Robert Cochran, man. You're doing great.
And everyone's got to remember, they got a chance to get some tires there on lap 11 once pit road opened under that first caution flag. So these guys, only about 20, a little less than 20 laps on these tires, so they should be pretty good to go, at least for another 20, I would think, before it starts becoming a little unmanageable.
Yeah, I think what we heard on pit road, there was a consensus, right? About 40 laps maximum on tires.
Yep.
So you're talking, 40 laps on fuel was the consensus. So you're only going to go 40 laps on fuel. If they pitted on right around what, lap 11, that'll take them to lap 52, which means there's only one. You could actually do it with one stop now to the end of the race, as we see right now. The good battle in between Ethan Thompson and Devin Zimmerman, 2 of the guys that we're normally used to seeing up front. But man, it's been exciting to see a lot of the other guys up there challenging and putting their name on that leaderboard and gathering that point away from these guys. That way they're not really running away from it.
Yeah, other than a few names in the back, I think we've seen most of the field run up front, if not lead a lap at some points.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really, really exciting as we now see Andrew Spears is just, he's like, all right, I want some fun here. I'm going to take guys 3 wide coming out of 2. Robert Cochran, though, I mean, how impressive is Robert Cochran? He is just, I mean, they did get around him, but they're not driving away. He is like right there, just biding his time. And has a good run. As he goes now, he's going to take it right underneath of Andrew Spears and try and take that position away for 3rd. He's got Devin Zimmerman out front, and Ethan Thompson, Robert Cochran, Andrew Spears battling. You got Brian Boyd right there in the picture, as it looks like Andrew Spears is going to hold on to that 4th position, or 3rd position. Going there for lap 31 and 90. This has been some exciting racing so far. We haven't really had a chance to break off or do anything, so this has been fun.
These guys make our job difficult, but at the same time they make our job a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Anybody moving? All right, well, we got another Andrew Spears again. He's going to dive it way down. What a run he had going down. He's going to take it right around Ethan Thompson, come right up to Devin Zimmerman. He may have it at the line. Man, that was one heck of a run that he had coming out of turn number 4 there, but at the line now it's still Devin Zimmerman But Andrew Spears did put the pressure on, but at the line, the scorer says Ethan Thompson and then Andrew Spears. I don't know. I think there's something might be wrong with that scoring table right there, because I've seen a couple of battles that looked like it could have gone the other way at the line. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that tonight, especially if it comes down to wire.
Absolutely.
The official
78,
scores.
looking to the inside of the 68 here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he got another run. So that one big run, and then he faded. And that's something we may have to watch. Do these guys get a big enough run? But it was amazing because Devin Zimmerman and Ethan Thompson stayed on the outside and were able to maintain. And look how much Andrew Spears was fighting for that second spot at the line. Now he's faded back to about a second off the lead.
2-mile track and a very wide track, and I think that's a very classic example of momentum on the outside versus the short way around on the inside.
Yeah, because he did have one heck of a run to get up there right underneath Ethan Thompson at the line a couple laps ago, but now we got Brian Boyd up there in third. Robert Cochran fell back to fifth, but still within a second. Chuck McDonald was right there, just under a second. So, I mean, your top six are about a second off the lead as you see that front pack. I mean, that's what you're looking at right there. Andrew Biznett is looking in the picture as well, so as you can see him from a mile away with that pink and green car.
Yeah, Field's pretty much broken themselves up in the two packs here. We got a front pack and a back pack, a lot of side-by-side racing in both, and we are just about 16 laps outside of that that final pit window to split the race and go the rest of the way.
You also have a stage at 50, so I mean, if they go right about then should be the pit stop. So who's going to try and go in early? Who's going to maybe force somebody's hand? That could definitely shake up the points as far as the staging goes as well too. So that'd be 51, I think 52 with the caution laps that we've had.
Yeah, I think 52 is the magic number where you get there and you can make it no problem, right? That's just a handful of laps left to go, well within the pit window. But who's going to go early and risk getting or not being able to pit under the potential yellow flag, and who's going to wait it out to see if that yellow flag does get thrown?
Right, and if you're talking a maximum of 40 laps, you'd have to go at 50 in order to make the race. So you're going to have to go past 50 in order to make it one stop. So if you go early, you're taking that big chance and you're hoping for a caution to try and get some, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Get some fuel. So, I mean, there's a couple of strategies here at play, as not only do we have 15 laps until we've got our next stage, but we've also got stage racing that you got to think about, taking care of your car, going to be there at the end. You can't short pit because then you're not going to make it to the end of the race unless you're counting on a caution, and that may never happen because we've seen these places play out where they go green the checkers. So
absolutely. If anything is for certain at this point, it is that no one is conserving anything.
No, I don't think so. I think they're all just racing really hard. I mean, they've kind of sorted their way out through the field now. Doesn't look like anybody's really been pressing the issue like they did earlier, but like I said, we got to get to lap 50. It's still a little bit too early to start thinking about stages. You're pretty much where you are. You got to get with the guy behind you, catch that draft now to catch that front two, because as they start to get away. But Andrew Spears is doing a good job of hanging on to that back three.
I think
Robert Cochran fell back. Brian Boyd fell back.
Might be challenging Brian Boyd here in a second. And a little bit of what you're seeing too is that right front fall off where the car gets a little tight and wants to push up the track. It's a little harder to make a move as the tires burn off these things. I would expect we'll see them probably run this way until we do get to that round of pit stops, and then whoever does that better will probably come out on top.
Absolutely. Well, while we got a little bit of a break here, why don't we try and run through the field, show these guys off, and see where they run, and let me talk about them a little bit. As we see our front runner right there, Devin Zimmerman came up, and he's been leading probably the last, what, 5, 6, maybe 10 laps now as we
put himself out there and picking up the points.
Absolutely. In our second spot is Ethan Thompson. We're watching these guys run it out. And these two are just kind of logging laps right now, probably waiting for the next stage. But Ethan Thompson definitely looking strong as usual. And in that third spot is Andrew Spears in that W car. Yeah, he led a few laps as well, as he's going to now go up and try and challenge Ethan Thompson. But he's looking good out there right now, sitting in third.
Jumping back to Brian Boyd, who was in fourth, but now I guess we need to talk about Chuck McDonald, who's in fourth.
Yeah, Chuck McDonald, who has been really quiet tonight. I mean, he was up there battling for the lead with Robert Cochran, did lead a lap or two, along with Brian Boyd in that 78 car. He was up there. He led us some laps, and so far our top 5 have led laps tonight, and he's looking good out there.
And Andrew
Right,
Brisnett has caught the top 5.
Andrew Bisnet has, yeah, he was been kind of quiet. He's number 1 on the leaderboard, number 69 on the car. I don't think he's led a lap, but he's been up there kind of like pressing the issue at one point. So I wouldn't be surprised, though, to see him maybe stay out a lap or 2 and try and get a point that way, maybe steal one. And then behind Andrew Bisnet should be Robert Cochran.
Getting him dialed in here.
There's Robert, and he's led quite a few laps. One of his strongest tracks, started towards the back, worked his way to the front, having a good run right now, just kind of logging laps and trying to get through the next pit stop. Maybe a little short on fuel, so he may be hanging back there a little bit. And then behind him is the number 64 car we haven't really talked too much about, Jason Hall up
He
there.
just completed the pass on Robert McDonald, who I had jumped to originally.
And he's kind of moving his way forward, but wouldn't expect to see him out there and fighting maybe towards the end here, getting a good little run, maybe top 5 tonight.
Yeah, we saw him having a pretty good run up front early on in the session here. As Robert McDonald, nice recovery after an incident early on. He was involved with that first incident with Chuck McDonald.
Yeah, so he's got his car out there. That's another Canadian Forces car. And behind him is the other green drab car and returner. Champion there of Jeremy Gaiman in that U.S. Army car. Jeremy Gaiman showed some speed way early in the race. Kind of fought his way up there, battled for the lead a little bit, but then has faded back to 10th right now. But he may be on a different strategy than everybody, as we see.
I wouldn't say faded back. I would say decided to hang back.
Okay. Tomato, tomato. We'll figure it out there. Paul Vosberg, Captain Paul, he's out there in 11th. He really didn't want any part of that fight, so he's just out there riding around. But he's in a good spot to be, especially behind Jeremy Gaiman. There's who probably hook up along with Luke Desjardins in the number 10 spot. They're in that 10 car right there, and there's can probably hook up. That's a good position to be in, especially towards the middle to end of this race. Try and get it to the end. But Luke Desjardins out there, talked about him a little bit earlier, hasn't been really pressing up front, but still early. We still got just coming up on halfway in a couple laps. And see Paul just trying to get underneath there. And there's Todd Danbury. Haven't really talked much about Todd tonight. He's just been hanging out there and logging laps. He may have an issue with the car, or maybe the car is just uncomfortable for him out there, but running 13th.
Could be. And if anybody's looking for a car to sponsor, I've heard Todd Danbury has a pretty blank canvas right there on the front of that Chevrolet.
Absolutely. And behind him is our newcomer, Randy Lapidus,
Yeah.
in that Gravedigger car.
One of my favorite paints right there. Gravedigger was by far one of my favorite monster trucks as a child.
And this is his first race, and just hanging out there logging laps, good way to do it. Find out how these guys and not really get in the way unless you feel absolutely confident. But
He hasn't made a mess, and for a newcomer, that's the way to go. You don't need to make enemies on the first day of school.
And behind him is Robin Pardon, which good to see Robin out here. He's just been kind of just logging laps like the rest of them back here. Maybe he's just trying to figure it out. Maybe not comfortable here at Michigan. Some tracks just don't suit certain drivers, and that just may be the case. But it's good to see him out here logging laps and getting points, because you got to show up for each one of these things, and at the end of the year, it all pays a spot or two and points.
It's like you say, they're hard to get and easy to give away.
Absolutely, and being out here there makes it harder on the next guy that's going to show up, as we've seen quite a bit of a distance here now between.
Out to a comfortable lead. I think here is the current race for position, second place between 9 and 68.
Yeah, and Ethan Thompson kind of faded back there off Devin Zimmerman. Last time when we left with them, they were right nose to tail. Maybe Andrew Spears has been racing him a little bit harder than Ethan Thompson wants, and it's been allowing Zimmerman to get out front to just over a second lead. But we are at 45 of 90, so officially halfway right now. 5 laps to go before we do the second part of our stage racing coming up here. And I really don't see too many. They're all pretty much sorted out. And then we got. So well, it looks like we got a taker coming down.
on the pit
Looks like our
road.
first
Looks
guy
like
on Robert Cochran is going to come
First
down
in,
at the
first
halfway.
out, right?
First in, first out. I mean, he was running that baby a strategy call.
Looks like a little bit of a wrinkle on the right front there too. I wonder if maybe he made some contact with somebody while he was up in the shuffle running for first
That
place.
could very well be. Well, I don't know. Maybe even later on in the run because he was just out there running a little bit. But yeah, it could be he's going to
He's got to
come
get
in.
at least 2 tires. We'll see if he takes all 4. I imagine he probably will. Yep, other side goes up. Got Robin Pardon now on pit road.
Barton's going to come down. So we got 2 takers before the 50 mark.
Yeah, 2 takers getting those fresh tires. Those are the first 2 and only 2 so far to cycle through pit stops.
Absolutely.
Or not
Devin
cycle
Zimmerman
through, but you know, get their pit stops.
get their pit stops. And like I said, I mean, there was a little bit of wrinklage here, so maybe he just got a little bit of damage. Didn't think it was going to be worth it to go out there, fade anyway, so just go out there, get what you can.
Yeah, Andrew Spears
Robert
still
McDonald.
wearing out that back bumper. Ethan Thompson, I'm sure he loves the fight and the ability to stay ahead, but he can see Devin Zimmerman driving away more and more every lap that he's having to hold off the 68.
Well, I'm sure that's got to aggravate him as a driver just a little bit because you're just like, please just stay in line. We can stay up there. I mean, you know, it's not the time. Please just stay in line. Quit racing me. Devin Zimmerman's pulling away here. So
Well, and the 68 saying the same thing. He's saying, "Hey man, I'm faster than you. Just let
hey,
me
I'm
by.
faster,
We
let
can
me
go catch
go,
him,
yeah."
right?" That's the catch-22 of the race car driver.
Absolutely. I mean, 43, just under, or just over halfway. So in and about.
Looks like Robert McDonald has taken his pit stop and will cycle back onto the track here.
Yep, Jeremy Gaiman now comes down on pit road, so he's getting his service right now. So pit stops are starting to fade out. I mean, can they go?
Yeah, I think
Now
it's
you're
going to be
talking what, 46
right side through everybody
laps? 43, 43, 44 laps. I mean, that's how many you'd have to. You're asking out of fuel and tires. So if you're going to try and
zoom
go
it
all
out
the
a
way.
little bit here, just so we can try to catch most of the field as they're coming through. We do have a race for position here between Andrew Bisnett and Brian Boyd, the 78 and 69. They were a lot closer a second ago. As soon as I looked at them, you know, they quit doing what they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, and we're coming up with 2 laps to go before the stages. So right now, Devin Zimmerman, Ethan Thompson, Andrew Spears, Chuck McDonald, Brian Boyd, Andrew Bisnett, Jason Hall, Luke Desjardins, Paul Weilsberg, Randy Lapidus are your top 10. Not sure how he splits up the stages, but that's the way that they normally run. I think it would be the top 10.
If you want a shorter list of names to read, that would be Jeremy Gaiman, Robert Cochran, Robert McDonald, and Robin Pardon, the only 4 drivers yet to go get tires and fuel.
No, that's all right. We'll read it the way. We'll figure it out. We're consummate professionals up here, Tommy.
Yeah, just looking at these lap times, the 9 and 68 just right next to each other. Really haven't given each other more than half a second any given time over the last 10, 15 laps.
No, and by them fighting and by Andrew Spears all over the back of Ethan Thompson, I mean, Thompson's either trying to keep him behind him, but yeah, I guess if he's just running his line and Spears will get around him, but you think that would have to be detrimental to that run, which is allowing that almost 2-second gap now in between them and first spot of Devin Zimmerman.
Well, I'll tell you, happiest guy on the track right now, this guy right here.
Yeah, he's like, go ahead, keep it up.
Yeah, leading the race, almost a 2-second gap now to the battle going on behind him for second and third. Curious to see how the pit stops play out with these guys up front. Devin obviously is looking pretty going in there. You know what they say, first in, first out. But I wonder what's going to happen between the 9 and the 68. And, you know, there's always that yellow looming over the heads of all these drivers.
Absolutely. And there's the end of the second stage with Devin Zimmerman, Ethan Thompson, Andrew Spears, Chuck McDonald, Andrew Bisnett, Brian Boyd, Jason Hall, Luke Desjardins. They were all in the pits. So Brian Boyd, Jason Hall, Luke Desjardins are down in the pits. So they did take it out to just past to get the stage points, and now they're taking their pit. Looks like Randy Lapidus is in.
And I'm looking at Randy Lapidus. I think he is getting some optional repairs here. I think he might have forgot to turn on that fast repair, or maybe he took it already during that first pit stop. I didn't see any contact, but we weren't looking at him as closely as we were the guys running up front.
Absolutely, and battle on track right now as Chuck McDonald is now coming down pit road. Paul Weilsberg is back out on track. Just trying to go through and see where these guys are falling out, but
Yeah,
the
going through.
earliest stop.
Devin Zimmerman, the 68 and 9, Ethan Thompson, Andrew Spears have yet to pit. Paul Vosberg still on track. Todd Danbury just entered, and Andrew Bisnett, the last car position-wise that has yet to make his pit stop.
And if you go back to Andrew Spears, if you look on his driver's side, it looked like he had a bit of a little crinkle, so he may have gotten into somebody as well.
I've seen a couple of these drivers on the right-hand side there. You'll see a couple of them have just kissed that wall, you know, probably not enough to cause any major... Oh,
There,
wow.
see it?
No, I was thinking of the right-hand side. The left-hand side there is
Yeah,
looking
so
pretty
the
wrinkled.
driver's side, so I'm not sure where that would have come from. Doesn't seem to be hindering his performance, though, but you see a nice little wrinkle there, and if he's not careful, just hope that don't bring any unwanted time on pit road.
Let's hope all the air ducts and cooling pieces are intact, right?
Absolutely. Todd Danbury comes down for his pit, so right now, Paul Vosberg, I know, was on pit road earlier. So just the top 4, Devin Zimmerman, Ethan Thompson, Andrew Spears, and Andrew Bisnett were the only ones that have not pitted as of yet. So Paul Vosberg, let me go back and see if I can catch.
Yeah, he has yet to pit.
I'm down on pit road there. No, yeah, he did not pit, so he is the last one that did not. So top 5 did not pit. So it'd be Robert Cochran if this all cycles out. If they can get it on and off pit road, Robert Cochran would take over the lead. Jeremy Game in second, Brian Boyd, and Chuck McDonald, Robert McDonald. So it's going to be who's going to have that speed. 36 to go. I'm really surprised that they're able to go this far from what we were gathering from the earlier infill.
I'm not so surprised that they're able to. These guys have shown that they're more than qualified to drive a race car, especially when it's not the most drivable. But
right.
You know, the guys that did pit first, Robert Cochran first in, he had the freshest tires, and fresh rubber might not be enough to make up the difference in time lost on those old tires.
Yeah, you're talking about what, almost 10 laps between this run and the first run. So he pit 10 laps early, which on the end of this run is definitely going to show speed.
Yeah, there's your top 5 right there.
But definitely they are in. Zimmerman, Thompson, Spears, and Bisnett. So
Bisnett will be the last of that lead pack off as the potential leaders, Robert Cochran there, coming by him right now.
Hey, Paul Vosberg is going 44 laps without taking a stop. So that was even further than what we were thinking. But they did have a couple of caution laps in there. So
yeah,
so
a handful of them.
42, 43.
And everyone should be good to go now. The people that pitted first will have the oldest rubber by the end of this event, presuming there are no yellows. And it looks like as they come to the line here, Paul Vosberg just entered pit road. So that will make your full cycle. And at the line. Is that not the line?
Well, we're looking here. Sorry, guys. We're trying to find out where this green flag pit stops, especially on that. I mean, just really equals out. But no, Devin Zimmerman comes back out. Hit the lead to Ethan Thompson, Robert Cochran now. But these guys should be right there towards the front because Paul Vosberg's in the pit. He did lead a lap.
He did, got that bonus point.
So now
that's by him now. So we should get accurate cycle reading this time by with Paul Vosberg, last one on pit road.
All right, so by pitting 10 laps earlier, Robert Cochran pulls it back up to within about 5 seconds.
Yeah, I think
33 to go.
I would say he made some gains there.
Yeah, he did make some gains, but right now, I mean, but he's fallen off. That's the whole thing because he pitted so early. So now that tire fall off. So a lot of these guys on the fresher tires are going to start pulling away from him again, as we see Chuck McDonald get away from him. But Devin Zimmerman out front, and you can see that gap. That's just under a second to Ethan Thompson. So now Ethan's got. Andrew Spears did have an issue. Must have taken some of the optionals because he fell back to 3 seconds, and he was right there battling and hanging on to the back of Ethan Thompson when they went into the pits on that last round of pit stops.
Yep, so here's first and second place. A little over half a second between these two. A little bit of action behind them, it looks like.
Yeah, so we've got Brian Boyd and Andrew Spears have now hooked up. That's third and fourth spot right there. So the fourth spot goes to Brian Boyd, chasing down Andrew Spears. They fell back to about 3.5, almost 4 seconds behind the leader. But they do have a lot of early speed. It's just, can they maintain it for the end, even though it is going to be a shorter run, because we're never running full 42 to the end. So they are able to run a little bit harder, maybe a couple of lucky breaks and get this field back together. As there's Jeremy Gaiman now. It's running 7, just about 7.5 seconds behind the leaders.
Yeah, just zooming in on this battle, I just noticed the timing lines there. Oh, Brian Boyd and Chuck McDonald. Right here, Chuck McDonald's caught up to Brian Boyd.
Yeah, Chuck McDonald he's been quick ever since he got his pit stop, so he's really pushing that car. Maybe saw something on that first run after getting that tire data back from pit road saying you can run it just a little bit harder for this last run. Go get him.
Yeah, we saw a lot of speed out of him in that first run too, and he seemed to drift back, and I always feel like it's intentional when we see a lot of these fast guys drift back, you know, just kind of biding their time, waiting towards the end of the race, but saving nothing now. He's going for it, just completing the pass on the 78.
Yeah, and he's really hungry this year. I mean, you're only talking 10 points back from Ethan for the, you know, sitting second and third, and only 13 off of the championship. So, this is one of those seasons where, you know, he's sitting right there at the podium, and in order to maintain, you got to get up there and be racy. And he has been really racy. Not what we have seen, kind of a polar opposite of what we've seen out of Chuck McDonald throughout the first few seasons, where he'd sit back and then try and save tires and gas and then try and be there at the end and outrun everybody. Now he's just polar opposite, where he's going to go out, he's going to take it, and you know, let the chips fall where they may, just running, trying to get all that he can out of it.
Yeah,
And he's still within 5 seconds of the leader, so you really can't complain there, and only 2 seconds off of third spot there.
Yeah, Jason Hall on the move, making quick work of the 9 and the 90.
Yeah, Jason Hall, like I said, we really haven't talked much about him. He's got a quicker car right now, probably went in really late on the pit stop strategy. Let's see, he's on 12 laps right now, whereas you're talking Cochran is on 18, so he went in six laps afterwards. Yeah. So he's on a little bit fresher tires there.
Robert Cochran will be on the oldest tires now. I would expect that's why we're seeing him fall back a little bit. Jeremy Gaiman took him a few laps, but was able to get around the 90.
Yeah, now Gaiman's starting to work his way to the front. He's got another top 10 going here on his first race back. And, Robert Cochran comes down to pit road and spins it. That's going to hurt. So, yeah, Robert Cochran just spun it coming down on the pit road. That may be the end of his night, because I think he might have been involved early, as he's stopped on pit road and he's...
Car's looking a little chewed up there on the right front.
Yeah, he came down and just locked them up and totally spun it. Slapped that inside wall. I would just happen to catch him out the corner of my eye on one of the monitors over here. And
now, Robert Cochran back to the pits, I presume, to come get some rubber.
Yeah,
if the yellow flag flies, he'll be sitting pretty.
Yeah, he will. But you got Randy Lapidus as well, so he's 1 lap down. But if he gets his lap back, that's going to put Cochran. But man, what a good run Cochran had. Good to see him out there. Just one of those deals, man.
Yeah, doing great work. I mean, sometimes the pit strategy doesn't work in your favor, but, you know, everything can change. If we get a yellow flag with, you know, 15 laps to go and some other guys need some rubber, Robert Cochran gets the wave around, and he's already got the rubber.
Right, and there's Randy Lapidus right there, and that Gravedigger car is sitting right now in a lucky dog spot. The only car 1 lap down out of the 15. So, yeah, Robert Cochran obviously had some issues, so he's in the pit, but... And there he goes.
Yeah,
he's going to tow it.
He had to get some optional repairs there.
He's back out. So, man, what a shame for him tonight. Had a good run going.
He was looking
one of his tough
good.
Times, so. Yep, 25 to go now. As Ethan Thompson has chased down Devin Zimmerman up front.
The gap to your leaders 1 and 2. And how about the number 68 of Andrew Spears? A 3-second deficit. And he's right back up with them.
Yeah, Andrew Spears, I was watching, he was battling Chuck. Chuck did catch up to him. Those two battled a little bit. They were about 3.5, 4 seconds back, and then like Andrew Spears must have found another gear. Um,
He's driving the 7-speed, right?
he is, and there had to have been another gear in that car because he pulled away from Chuck McDonald, left him with about 4 seconds out, and pulled up to this lead pack. So here we go with another podium finish for
Looking back
Spears.
real quick, Brian Boyd and Andrew Bisnet now pretty close to each other. This is for position.
It's for 5th and 6th spot, and they're about 8 seconds, 8.5 seconds behind the leader. But there goes Andrew Bisnet on the top side of Brian Boyd, who showed a lot of speed early, but just couldn't quite hang in there yet again. So another learning experience for Brian Boyd, but keep an eye on him. He is definitely one to watch in these series. Andrew Bisnet is another winner. So, I mean, we see a lot of winners out here. Brian Boyd, I presume we can give him an honorary win, especially at the
as many laps as he's
Talladega
led.
race, Daytona race. He was both, I think, looking at the line both times, and just ended up, you know, that's just racing. But
Oh, Andrew Bisnet, I think, just touched the wall right there.
inside, it looked like Brian Boyd followed him up there, trying to follow him. And
Monkey
yeah,
see,
I've
monkey
done that
do.
before. I've done that quite a few times out in there in these cars. But yeah, I mean,
Ethan Thompson has really made it up there to Devin Zimmerman now. We're talking 2/10 or so.
yeah, and not sure if Devin is purposely falling back or if Ethan is getting better.
Looks like Devin's trying to pick a couple different lanes there to try to keep that clean or dirty air off of Ethan's nose. Ethan's trying to catch a little bit of a drive here. Devin doing everything he can left and right to keep him from doing it.
He's definitely trying to get that diffuser to work and push Ethan off. As he's down, he's up, he's down. Okay, all right, but
I
Ethan
think
is on
Ethan's
that
got the
roll
car
now.
here, and I think Devin recognizes that. And you know, the more they fight, who's looking at this? Andrew Spears right there in P3, sitting just 1 second back, 0.8 back from the leader.
Right, once these two get side by side, and it looks like you're coming up on lap traffic there. As you see, just Andrew Spears picking, just peeking right there behind them, but you're going to come up on lap traffic, and that's also going to play a role, as these guys are going to have to pick a lane. Presumably they'll go low, the guys will go high, but you never know. Somebody might slide up, and that could definitely pull Andrew Spears back up here in the mix as we're coming down with 20 to go at the line. Devin Zimmerman and Ethan
Up in
Thompson.
the blimp, you can just see that lap car. We'll probably
Just
see
coming
that
in the
lap car
picture.
all the way through the backstretch here.
And it's Todd Danbury that they're trying to catch up to there. So if Devin can catch the draft off of Todd Danbury and then keep Thompson behind him, but Thompson, I mean, he's just been on a tear here lately. He's got a run. He's had a couple of runs.
He's on the
Man,
march, and the two of those cars together, too, have separated themselves another half second ahead of that 68 sitting in P3, so the draft is doing something for both of them as much as Devin is trying to avoid it.
Yeah, and like I said, we saw Andrew Spears up within a second. It's falling back. And like I said, I mean, now they're drafting each other, getting up there, and that's what. And then they got the draft of Danbury. They're close enough now, and that's pulling those three away, or those two away. As you see Todd go down low, but if these two go side by side even after that, and if Andrew Spears can get up there and catch Todd's draft as well, that'll propel him around and maybe close that gap a little bit.
Todd went plenty high. I think Devin's like, no, don't slow down, don't slow down. Get in front of me, buddy. Need you right now.
Yeah, I need your draft right there. I need your draft. I don't know if you've seen it. I got this hungry looking number 9 right on my back bumper here. Help me out, pal. Let me buy and then squeeze in between us, you know? Give me that gap there.
And you wonder how much communication the teams are having right now, because I'm not sure if Todd Danbury is like trying to get out of his way and Devin's chasing him, or there we go. Todd's like, okay, you guys go.
He's like, all right, I've seen enough of this. All right, you two go. But now, let's see. I mean, because you did get that in, is it going to pull that gap now in between? Andrew Spears should be able to catch the back of that draft of Todd Danbury when he falls off the back of these two. As here we go side by side. So Zimmerman goes down low. Thompson goes high, maintains that momentum, really pulls up to within just on that back bumper there. He's going to look down again low. And this is where he gets a good run coming off of turn number 2. He's going to take it all the way to the outside. And this is where Zimmerman's just been trying to break that draft. And then Ethan had at last few laps, it looked like Ethan had more of a speed going through turn 3 than Zimmerman here. Zimmerman's going to cut him down. Ethan's going to try and go high. Got to be a little bit careful there, because if you're not used to it, we've seen Ethan tap that wall.
They're playing a lot of aero games here. Ethan's doing his best to kind of stay in that draft and, you know, keep the air off the nose of his car. Devin doing everything he can to, you know, run half a lane higher, half a lane lower in the corners. And then on the straightaways, just straight up pulling out of the line of travel to try to keep the air off of Ethan.
But right that diffuser, I mean.
That quick diffuser move there, down low and then back up to the wall just to break that draft.
And it's working, because you see Ethan fall back a little bit. Does disturb that nose.
Yeah, I think what Devin needs to do right here is just remain unpredictable. You know, don't run the same line every time. Don't give Ethan the chance to predict what you're going to do. The more unpredictable Devin can be, the more it works in his favor, as long as he's driving with the mirror, not the windshield.
Right, and if he gets too unpredictable, it's going to be good news for the rest of the field, as they'll be having a caution.
That is the truth. That is the truth.
How patient can you stay back there knowing everything that's on the line?
And just looking back through the rest of the field, there doesn't seem to be a lot of tight battles. I think everyone's kind of sorted themselves out. We've got a few cars a lap down, looking 12 on back, 11 cars on the lead lap. Closest gap right now is Andrew Boyd and Brian Bisnet. I'll jump back to them real quick. They seem to be neck and neck.
I mean, ever since Bisnet got around Brian Boyd, there's two basically been battling like this. Andrew Bisnet did write in finally on chat and said finally getting used to running the high line. So he must have been working all race to try and get that high line to come in. And it just seems to be like a push. You got the low line that they got coming off of 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4. So you got right there.
Yeah, and these guys aren't marred back in the field either. This is for some valuable points. I mean, we're talking 5th, 6th place here, and they're, you know, back and forth, door handle to door handle, just kind of trading positions until that last lap comes down. As we see Ethan Thompson now well within a tenth of Devin Zimmerman, pretty consistently right on the bumper.
He has been really just pestering Devin, like.
He's doing his best Andrew Spears impression.
Yeah, and Spears did fall, but I thought Spears would have got back up there a little bit while these guys are racing, but man, he's pulled down within 3 seconds behind. But he's got a solid third going on right now with 13 to go, as you got what 8 seconds from the leaders back to Chuck McDonald, and then it's 15 seconds back to the Andrew Bisnet Brian Boyd battle. So yeah. I mean, there is some satisfaction knowing that, you know, all I gotta do is just finish this out. I got another podium. Fight another day.
These two guys have done such a great job staying close to each other. I mean, obviously Devin's trying to shake that draft a little bit, but Ethan's been right there to kind of catch that tailwind. They've done such a great job staying together bumper to bumper that they've been able to open that 3-second gap back to third. It's because they're so close that they've become so close.
Absolutely, and so we got on the front of our running order here with 12 laps to go. Devin Zimmerman, Ethan Thompson, Andrew Spears, Chuck McDonald, Brian Boyd, Andrew Bisnet, Luc Desjardins, Jason Hall, Jeremy Gaiman, Robin Partner, your top 10. Paul Vosberg, Todd Denberg is the first car lap down in 12th. Robert McDonald, Randy Lapidus, and Robert Cochran 2 laps down in 15th. Everybody is still running, so there has been no cars that have retired with 11 laps to go. 10 at the line, as we still got Devin Zimmerman really just putting on he's just holding off. He's just making that battle hard up front, as we got a good battle back here for 5th and 6th. I mean, that's a valuable point that these guys are looking to get a hold, and man, that was a little bit of a close call there, but
you see Andrew Bisnet there just kind of try to use a little bit of side draft to pull Brian Boyd back, and I think he might have felt like he did a little too much and overcorrected there just for a second. That'll spread him back out, but you know, he's running that high line, he has the momentum. Brian Boyd taking the shorter way around the track, and that's why we see them trading positions left and right, because they're both taking advantage of the two places to take advantage, momentum versus the short way around.
Yeah, and I mean, earlier on when the car models, when iRacing had the earlier car models, you could really get that side draft off of these cars. Since they did update it, after past few updates, that side draft really isn't as effective. Um, so really getting on that guy's quarter panel really isn't the way to go. Kind of like we see there, the crossover move.
Yep.
That's where it's at, because that diffuser now pulls you in because it has such dirty air in the back. It breaks up your nose, so you're going to have to go across it and then try and get clean air on it, and that's where you're going to make the pass. Not so much getting on the guy's quarter panel to pull him back to you anymore. As we got King Kinks out there, says go Brian. So we got go Brian Boyd out there. So absolutely, Brian Boyd is putting on, you know, a good show tonight. He was up front leading earlier. Oh, it looks like I got Robert Cochran down on back on pit road, so he's having more issues tonight. 9 laps to go, but back to Brian Boyd. Yeah, he was up front. He led a few laps, had a lot of good early speed, and is now running and battling really hard right now for that 5th position with Andrew Bisnet, as we've got back out front. Still Devin Zimmerman and Ethan Thompson right there. You got to figure at one point these guys have got to make the move. And who's it going to be? Thompson has been in the catbird seat watching what he's been doing. You know, knows the moves now. Basically bottom of the 4th here. 2 minutes left. Time for the 2-minute drill with 8 seconds to go. You've seen just about all the plays that are going to be pulled out of the playbook. Is there something on defense that Devin didn't show Ethan, and is there something on offense that Ethan didn't show Devin yet that can get him around him? So.
Hey, you see Ethan Thompson back here just doing whatever he can to kind of stay in the tailwind of Devin. And Devin just being unpredictable. He'll run the low line, he'll run the high line, and we've seen him do that little fake maneuver. Probably see it again right here on the backstretch. Well, maybe it's not close enough for him to do it.
And you see him just go right into turn 3, and that's where Ethan has been consistently faster. Is turn 3 and 4, and then Ethan will get a good run. Usually goes to the outside, and then Devin has been taking the middle to low. He's going to block that outside now, but for the past little bit there, probably with 10 laps ago, they were kind of like just blocking each other, trying to break that draft, but doesn't look like it's going to get away, as we got more lap traffic now as they're coming up on Paul Vosberg and Robin Pardon here. And this was 6 laps to go. This could definitely play into effect, because you do have a battle right there between those two, and between Robin Pardon and Paul Vosberg.
Yeah, great battle going on again, back 5th and 6th between Brian Boyd and Andrew Bisnet, you know, staying door handle to door handle. We see Ethan Thompson finally got to the inside of Devin Zimmerman there. Wasn't enough to make the move.
No, it's not going to be enough, but he was showing them that, you know, and that's where we had the speed. That's where Thompson has the speed, but he fell back. So, I don't know. You know, maybe it's that run. Just got to figure out where that run is going to come from. Kind of right now, just lining him up before he starts to punt.
Yeah, we got the lap traffic coming up ahead of us here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we've got, like I said, that's Paul Vosberg, Robin Pardon. Those two are racing for position right there. So,
when we say lap traffic, those are the last 2 cars on the lead lap, so they may or may not give it up easily. But I think with 5 to go, depending on how close those two get together, the lap traffic, I should say, may or may not be easy to get by these guys.
And there we've seen after that run, that's the biggest gap in between Devin Zimmerman and Ethan Thompson. 4 to go. Do you think maybe, well, I don't know, did Ethan use up enough, or is he just waiting? But then again, we've got Zimmerman, who did catch Paul Vosberg's draft. Ethan was trying to line him up a little bit, and so cool those tires down maybe a little bit, and have one more run. You've only got about one more run left in him.
But that's kind of what I'm thinking, is back it up, cool the rubber a little bit, you know, stay within striking distance and wait for that moment to strike. As we see Devin picking up the draft again off some lap traffic here. Lap traffic goes low to clear the way for the leaders.
But just not enough. I mean, you could see it right there. I mean, even under lap traffic, it took a little bit for him to get around him. It wasn't like he just drove by him on the outside. And there's a run coming up from Ethan. Ethan got one heck of a run going down turn number 1 and 2 as they head down the backstretch there and just about 7-8 car lengths. And here's where Ethan makes up the gap. Down in turn 3, dive it down. Can really let that car run. And you can see it close it down just to within 4 car lengths. So it gained about 2 car lengths a lap, 3 laps to go. It's going to put him right back at that run. He's only got 1 more run left in him. This is a great battle in between Devin Zimmerman and Ethan Thompson right now. Come back across the line, 2 to go. So, and there they are. Ethan Thompson probably did just let his tires cool off, and now it's going to be an all-out battle. Didn't see lap traffic.
Oh, Ethan Thompson up into the wall.
Ooh, that's going to definitely hurt Ethan Thompson's chances. Devin Zimmerman now is going to just drive away. 2 laps to go. Ethan taking all that he could.
That
pulled to within where he had to go. Drove it just a little bit. Got tight. Tapped that outside wall.
Yeah,
and
got
you can
himself
just see that
good wrinkle there on the right front.
Man, so yeah, I mean, what a race. What a way to go. Especially coming down for the...
Yeah, last lap. This will seal the deal.
Man.
That was close. That was real close.
And Ethan's not really. I mean, if you're looking back, there's only 4 seconds in between him and Andrew Spears, so he's got to race it. He can't just let it go. He's still got to put down a decent lap here to hold off Andrew Spears, who is within 3 seconds of him, and they come across the line right there. And there's your race winner. Second race winner of this season, Devin Zimmerman. So he's now got 2 in the books. Ethan Thompson comes across the line in second. Andrew Spears with another good run comes home third. Chuck McDonald's going to bring it across the line in fourth. Here's a battle. Brian Boyd and Andrew Bisnet. Looks like Brian Boyd. You see that gap? Brian Boyd across the line in fifth. Andrew Bisnet sixth. Luke Desjardins in seventh. Going to come across the line. Seventh. Here's Luke in eighth is Jason Hall. Had a good little run. He's finishing up his race right now. That number 64 WWE car. The Rock.
But there he is, the man of the hour.
Devin Zimmerman. Robin Pardon, 9th. Paul Vosberg with the top 10. So way to go, Captain. Coming out here and getting another top 10. So he's on a roll. Todd Danbury, 11th. Robert McDonald, 12th. Jeremy Gaiman, 13th. Randy Lapidus, in 14th. And Robert Cochran ended up the day in 15th. What a run. What a race. That was exciting. All the way up to the last lap there. I thought we were going to have Ethan Thompson come up there and steal it, but that's not the way that it happened. So let's try and get a hold
Zimmerman
of our
burning
race
it down. Let's see if we can talk to him.
Yep, I'll see if I can grab him. Maybe. Nope, I can't seem to catch up to our race leader here. He's in a...
You got to put in the
trying here.
Got to put in the victory lane password.
I know. I can't get the press pass over to him. So, Devin, if you can turn on your mic, you please jump down to booth channel, please. Please jump down to booth channel. In the meantime, I'm going to try and catch up to Ethan Thompson. Maybe I can talk to Ethan along the way. Maybe. All right, well, Ethan Thompson can't get a hold of who is third. Andrew Spears. Can we get a hold of Andrew Spears? I got to talk to somebody up here. Top 3. Where did you guys go? Okay, so I can't talk to anybody at the present moment.
Let me see if I can.
All right, hold on, just
type in the secret password.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, Devin, Tommy up in the booth. You got to read on us, buddy?
Go.
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Hey, man, you're probably feeling pretty high and mighty right now. What was it like those last, I don't know, 20, 30 laps being chased by that number 9 car?
Nerve-wracking. You can't escape. Once you catch the draft, you can stay with the guy in front of you, even if you make a little mistake. Unfortunately, Ethan he got the wall trying to get to me on that last lunge there, and I actually made a mistake off of 2, and he saw it and tried to push and ended up getting the wall. And my the dirty air coming off of two is pretty bad. So, but man, that was an interesting race, especially at the beginning. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was very crazy there, and man, a lot of different names up front. A lot of people were leading this thing way early on. Um, how did you manage to escape your way out of that mess and work your way back up?
He actually saved tires here. If you do that, you can have a good drive off of 2 and 4, and that's the name of the game. I'm not sure what Ethan was doing off of 4, but all night long he was killing me off of turn 4. But I was better off of turn 2, so we were kind of balancing out there for a good time, and we just kind of followed each other through the field. And once we got up to the front, it was just side by side for a good while. And then the sim said we made contact. It didn't feel like we made contact, but Ethan's car got upset, and then him and Spears kind of got into each other. But yeah, we were talking. We didn't think we made contact, but the game registered a 0x. So I guess some net code happened. But yeah, that was a good battle all night long between me and Ethan. And Spears was up there, and was it Boyd? I mean, there was a lot of guys up there. It was crazy.
Yeah, there were a lot of different names up front. Next week, everyone goes to Bristol. That's a lot of, you know what Bristol brings, short track action, a lot of beating and banging out there. How do you feel going in the next week coming off this W?
These big tracks are my specialty. So the short tracks tend to be Ethan. So it's going to be hard to beat him. And then I know Spears is going to be fast, and also Boyd. They're both pretty good at short tracks as well. So Chuck McDonald as well, very good at short track. So I got some work to do. Yeah, it's I'm not too big on the short tracks, but I gotta get better because the final race here is at North Wilkesboro. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, every race is worth points, and every driver recognizes where they're strong and where they're weak, and they try to improve where they're weak. And we expect you to do that because you've shown that you can do it through 2 seasons now. Got a handful of sponsors on the car, so I'm sure there's a bunch of shout outs you want to give for sitting there in victory lane.
oh yeah, so as always, mission 22 on the hood. I do 22 push-ups every single time I win. So I'm gonna knock out 22 here in a minute once I get out of the rig. But yeah, mission 22. Keep all those thoughts and all these people in your thoughts, and it's mental stress and mental anguish is nothing to to write home about. I mean, it affects all veterans in some shape, way, or form, and it is Veterans Day week. So
That's true.
make sure you think all the veterans out there, other than us, of course. I know everybody thinks us quite a bit. We're on here, but I'm sure everybody out there knows more. So be sure you thank them. Honey Press also on the car. McConey Setup Shop. Also, Hunterdon Anesthesia Associates, Healthcare Billings, 23 or 213 somewhere, and Tank Racing. Appreciate all the work that all of our sponsors do to get us in victory lane, keep us running every week. So yeah, and then might have debut a couple new sponsors here before long. I am officially done with active duty service, so I've begun my new job at Ontic. It's an aerospace engineering company, aerospace engineering manufacturing. So,
Yeah. Well, welcome
yeah,
back to the civilian world, and you said it
Right?
yourself. We thank you guys a ton because you're on the air with us and all that. So thank you for the show, but most importantly, thank you for your service.
yeah, I appreciate it, and thank you, fellas, for putting this on. I know everybody who watches it. I hear time and time again they love it. So thank you guys for what you do up in the booth, and everybody watching. I appreciate all of you. Getting the praise. Shouting out all the different drivers. It's encouraging, not for only that driver, but for the rest of us, because
Absolutely.
I mean, we're all friends in this league. None of us really have any any enemies or anything like that. There's some
Well,
good hard racing.
you guys
There's some
haven't
good
been to
hard
Bristol
racing.
yet.
Yeah. I mean, there's some good hard racing. Me and Ethan showed that tonight, along with Spears. There's always some hard breaks and stuff, and but yeah, we're never at each other's throats. At the end of the day, it's just good hard racing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We'll let you get back with the drivers so you can celebrate with your brothers in arms, our heroes at home and abroad, and we need to try to get second place up here, even though probably not too happy about the outcome. He was definitely in it for the running. Ethan, this is Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us, buddy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey man, I know it's not the best of circumstances, but you still came home P2, so plenty of points to, be added on to what you've collected already this season. Can you walk us through those last 20, 30 laps trying to hunt down Devin? What was going through your mind?
Uh, the main thing I wanted to do was just stay close. I didn't want to race hard. If I had no desire to be up front. All I cared about was just being able to maintain the gap, stay within, half a second, or so. So that way I always had the draft, and then just try to take care of my tires. So that I knew I would be able to make a run there at the end, at least to have a shot, which I did. And unfortunately, that one there at the end going into two, um, I didn't feel it at all throughout the run, so I don't know what happened different in that turn, but for whatever reason, when I was behind him in that particular turn, it would not turn. It plowed really bad, so I don't know. Somehow the dirty air got me different that turn than another turn. I don't know, but basically, when you crank the wheel because it's not turning and it still doesn't turn. So, but it's all good though. It was still a fun race, and congrats to Devin for getting the win.
Yeah, well, luckily the two of you being in that two-car draft combo, I mean, you guys were able to walk far enough out ahead of the field that even that little bit of contact at the end, while you didn't get the W, still brought it home P2, which is a very respectable finish. How do you feel going into Bristol next week?
I feel good. Out of all the short tracks, I think Bristol is probably my favorite. It's probably the one that I think that I run best at. We just ran there. I believe not yesterday, but the weekend before in the Gas and Go series, and I was able to get a win that night. So hopefully I can get a similar result come next week in the Vets League.
Absolutely. Well, and congratulations on your second. You put on one heck of a show. Definitely showed that you had the speed here tonight. Definitely quicker, and it was fun race to watch there. And it's not what you wanted, but once again, thank you for everything that you've done, all your services, and we look forward to seeing you in Bristol and next week.
I appreciate it, guys.
It's our
Yeah,
pleasure.
put
You
your
get
bag down there so you can go celebrate with all the rest of the guys, and we will bring up our third place finisher. If we can
think
find them here, Andrew
one of the
Spear.
few drivers that knows how to enter the green room after the race. All the other guys are busy partying. Andrew Spears says, "Hey, you know what? I got sponsors on these cars. These guys are ready to talk. Let's go." Andrew, Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us, buddy?
Yeah, I got you. How y'all doing?
Hey man, another podium finish. We're doing good. You're probably doing better than we are right now. I think this is probably the third time we've interviewed you over 5 races in season 7. So you're clearly making a statement. Haven't quite got that W yet, but you're picking up some valuable points.
Consistency is key. If I finish every race from here on out in third, I may become a champion. So that's what I'm aiming for.
Hey, you're not wrong, man. Those points do matter.
Absolutely. So why
Yeah.
don't you walk us through how you were feeling? I mean, you look pretty racy out there. Very, like I said, consistency has been paying off, and I mean, you were looking really good there towards the middle part of that last run. Why don't you talk us through that part?
Yeah. So before we went into the pits, me and Ethan got a little loose coming off of two. I, being I guess the newcomer, wanted to stick my nose in there where I probably shouldn't have. And he ended up putting me into the wall slightly, just enough to cause some aero damage. Not nothing with the wheels or anything that I could feel. In fact, the car started turning better, but I was losing speed from that aero damage. So I just tucked it back in behind Ethan. Ethan and Devin started walking off. And when we pitted, my goal was to get up there to them because they pitted about 3 seconds ahead of me. I cut the lead down. I cut the gap down, so to say. I cut that gap down to probably about a half a second. And I just didn't have anything left in the tires. So my next goal was to just keep Chuck behind me. So that was to basically stay in third. You know, I know I won't reach Ethan and Devin, so might as well keep Chuck behind me.
Well, hey, man, you did a great job, and third place is nothing to be ashamed about. I don't know where the points are, but I'm willing to bet you're sitting pretty good with a couple of podium finishes here.
Yeah, I was looking at it last week.
Fourth spot, only one point behind Chuck McDonald. So I'm sure you gained a couple to move into third tonight.
Yeah, and
There
you know, if it stays that way, you know, a podium for the point standings, that'll be my first ever in iRacing if it happens. So you know, I'm gonna take it 1 week at a time. Bristol's gonna be tough. Bristol is not my strongest short track. In fact, every race I've ever done there, except for one super late model race, I've wrecked. So
I was just gonna say, you make more enemies there than friends, really.
yeah, but Martinsville is where where I shine. The next two races, Bristol and Kansas, are going to be tough for me. We raced Kansas last night, and I had to get out of it. I couldn't. I kept running into people, and it's not my strongest. But it's kind of set up kind of like. Are we going to Kansas or Kentucky? I don't remember.
Well, let me throw the schedule up there while everyone's talking about it. We go to Bristol, Kansas, and then Martinsville, and then back to Super Speedway.
Well, I misspoke. Kentucky is where I'm not good at. Kansas is where I shine.
Right.
So Bristol, we're gonna have some rocky slopes there. I may get an EOL, and I may get taken out of the race. But you know what? I got to have a drop race, right?
Absolutely.
Might as well be that one.
Yeah, there is one drop race there in this series, so you're good there.
Absolutely.
Might as well be that one. But Kansas and Martinsville, they better watch out.
Well, it's great talking to you. You're certainly putting on a show for everybody out there. We thank you for your service and thank you for the show. You got any sponsors on the car you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, W Energy is really the only one that stands out to us. Appreciate their support. That's that and the racing team, A&R Motorsports. Myself, my buddy Nelly, and Rob all have started a race team. So Rob was actually out there with me tonight, helping me around, and he ended up getting into the wall some late in the race and having some issues. But
that was the new fella out there.
Yeah, Rob McDonald. So
yeah, Robert McDonald. Yep. No, he's been here before.
Oh,
I know who you're talking about. Randy Lapidus.
Randy Lapidus is the new guy. I was thinking he was
right now.
All I have is first initial up here, so.
Yeah.
That's right. We'll get them straightened out, Andrew. No problem up here. But no, I mean, it was really good to have you out there. I mean, you're becoming like a household name in this Vets and First Responders League. And good to talk to you again. And yeah, keep it up and put on great
tell
shows.
Your friends, we do this whole thing on the internet where like it's live. People can come watch it.
Yeah.
I'll do that. You know, I just need Devin and Ethan not to show up one weekend, and I'll win. I mean, that'll be my W.
Well, I heard they're not going to be at Bristol, so.
Yeah, me and Tommy work for food, so if anybody wants to donate like a cupcake or something, we'll take what we can get up here.
I heard Michigan's got pretty good funnel cakes. I heard Michigan's got pretty good funnel cakes, so.
Yeah, in fact, Tommy went down to get one earlier, but he missed the deadline there, so.
There you go.
You got to get early for the funnel cakes.
That's right.
Well, Andrew, we're going to get you back down there with the drivers to celebrate your third place finish. A couple other winners.
Yeah, like a podium, and I mean, they're looking really good this season. Looking really good. There is one more that I want to talk to just tonight.
New guy.
No, I want to bring up
Cochran.
No, I want to bring up to the booth Boyd. Brian Boyd. He had a special paint scheme tonight, and I want him to just touch on that a little bit.
He was sitting by himself and not with the other driver, so I'm not sure if he has his headset on still. But hey, Brian, Tommy up in the booth, you got a read on us?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, Brian, I know you had a special scheme on there tonight, and I know we had a couple of visitors out there watching us, and I probably messed it up over the broadcast. So I'd like you to clarify just what your paint scheme was tonight, and congratulations on your racing. I mean, you did have a good race, top 5.
Oh, I had an absolute blast. I had the luxury of speaking to a gentleman's mother. We connected on Facebook, and then we traded some emails and went back and forth, and then we talked on the phone verbally as well. So my paint scheme is dedicated to the first Navy SEAL that died in OIF, Operation Iraqi Freedom. His name was Mark Lee. Anybody that knows Chris Kyle. Her son and Chris Kyle were in the same platoon together. He basically pulled security for Chris Kyle. They worked hand in hand quite a bit. The America's Mighty Warriors is a foundation or organization, as you will, that they take care of the Gold Star families. They take care of the vets and wounded warriors that maybe can't afford like the shot that BACC Charities funded for a previous vet that used to be in the league. This foundation actually funds those all types, a major variety of therapy for soldiers, as well as for the families. They give them places to go, resorts and whatnot, to decompress. Because anyone that's lost a loved one overseas, there's a lot of things that go into the thought process for the weeks and months, if not the first few years after you lose a loved one.
Yeah, absolutely. The shot you mentioned is the stellate ganglion block treatment. And it's not just for veterans. They do target that market because there is a lot of PTSD in that area. But everyone deals with grief. Everyone deals with loss. So I would encourage people to look up that treatment if it's something that you're dealing with personally, be a veteran or not.
Absolutely, absolutely.
On a second note, thank you for clarifying that and putting it out there. And obviously, I mean, very, very great cause. You always bring a great cause to the track.
Sure
But
do.
man, that was fun watching you and BizNet fight for that 5th position. And yet up front, I mean, once again, you brought it from the back to the front. We had this discussion pre-race a couple days ago about that.
We
And
did.
obviously, you didn't listen to me too much on that. So I'm going to have to charge you double next time for the training. But it's 2 hot dogs next week, just at, Bristol.
Absolutely.
But
Corn
no,
dog
I mean, that
season.
was fun to watch you guys get up there. A lot of racing going on early. So why don't you talk to a little bit about the first part and then
Oh, what
a little bit
part?
about racing.
You were looking pretty hot early
You
on
were
now.
looking pretty hot within the first 15 laps.
Well, I was scared to death being back in the back because I know one mistake on that bottom line, a lot of cars are going to get taken out. So my thought is I wanted to get up toward the front, away from wherever that mistake may be, as quick as possible. Plus, I I I want to say she was watching, and I wanted to put on a good show for Mark Lee's mom.
Oh,
So
there you
the points were second fiddle in my head at this point.
Well, it was
So
a lot of fun to watch. I mean, you were a lot of fun out there, and
there
good to
was one.
see you put that 78 Mission 22 car up front and lead a few laps. And I'm telling you, you're going to win one of these things. It's just a matter of time. We just got to rein you in a little bit more.
If you lead enough laps, eventually one of them will be the last one for sure.
For sure, for sure. There was one point in the race though. Robert Cochran and Jeremy.
Gaiman?
Yeah, they got into each other. Well, Cochran was sliding down low, and it looked like Jeremy was very undecided of which way he was going to go, and it looked like he was coming down toward Cochran. So I was like, "Well, I'm going to try and see if this thing will fit between the car and the wall." It did, but barely. Believe it or not, I had no damage.
Wow.
I don't know how I made it in between those two, but I'm pretty sure if you look at the right side of that car, there's concrete stuck in the wheels.
That's how it happens sometimes. Well,
I don't know. Chastain said it's pretty hard to put any concrete in between those walls.
didn't see anybody try that tonight. I figured we'd see at least one guy go for it.
I was dying laughing during all that madness, right? You could hear BizNet chiming up. It's still a long race, boys. It's still a long race.
Yeah, that sounds like him. Well,
but
brother,
me and BizNet, man, I'll tell you what. We raced each other extremely hard, but extremely clean.
yes.
And I'll do that all day, every day for 100 laps with BizNet, man. That was fun.
Absolutely.
Intense.
It's
Absolutely.
fun to watch too. So
I'm sure it was going back and forth for you guys. I'm sure.
Well, we're gonna get you back with the other drivers so you guys can celebrate. We appreciate your show and appreciate your service for sure.
Yes, sir. You guys have a great night. And thank you for what you guys do.
Yes, sir. You do the same. Well, what a night. I think towards the end of that race, it did finally kind of sort out like we expect Michigan to, but the first 30, 40, 50 laps of that race, I mean, it was just intense.
Some great racing going up
I
there
don't know how
because
they do it.
strategies were played out. I mean, we saw Cochran show his strength like this is one of his best tracks. It's too bad he couldn't stay up there and pull it off, but man, he was showing some speed early. I mean, we've had so many leaders tonight. It's unbelievable how many guys. I mean, it was like half the field, if not more, at least led a lap tonight or at least up there battling before it finally got sorted out there through the green flag runs, which we typically see towards the end of it. But man, that was some fun racing tonight from Michigan, for
Absolutely.
sure.
I just threw the schedule up on the screen there for the viewers at home. So next week, 11/14, we will be at Bristol for some good old-fashioned short track racing. Then off to Kansas, Martinsville. Everyone set your calendars for December 12th. That is Talladega.
Yeah, that's going to be another one where it's going to be like here. You're going to see a lot of different leaders and a lot of bounce back and forth. And there at the end, last few times we've gone to a super speedway, it's been coming down to that last lap, I mean, not even last lap, last corner before somebody takes it out. So we've seen uh, Chuck McDonald get up for his first win at Daytona. When Boyd started spinning coming off of turn 4. I mean, so we've got a whole bunch of whole bunch of stuff coming up for you, and obviously it's a lot of exciting racing coming up.
Absolutely.
Bristol, beat banging, back to short track racing. Um, you never know who can win that there too. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm looking forward to that one more than a lot of the drivers are, I'm willing to bet. That's gonna be something to watch right there.
Absolutely. But man, it was fun here tonight at Michigan. Final running order tonight: Devin Zimmerman, Ethan Thompson, Andrew Spears, Chuck McDonald, Brian Boyd 5th, Andrew Bisnet 6th, Luke Desjardins 7th, Jason Hall 8th, Robin Pardon 9th, Paul Vosberg 10th, Todd Danbury 11th, Robert McDonald 12th, Jeremy Gaiman 13th, Randy Lapidus, and 14th, Robert Cochran 15th. Final running order tonight for Michigan. Everybody stayed out on track tonight. There were nobody that left early, so it was good hard racing from top to bottom. This thing is heating up. I'm loving what I'm seeing. 15 drivers showing up mid-season, and we're growing and seeing some old names come back. I'm looking forward to Bristol and seeing what these guys can bring. It's been an exciting season so far. Um, and I'll tell you what, if you like what you see, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the share button. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun this year in season 7, and appreciate everybody out there in YouTube land chiming in, watching us. I mean, we love you guys. Our regulars out there, it's awesome to see, and they're growing as well. So, Tommy, from that note, I'm going to get out of the booth. I'm going to try and chase down the chicken truck over there. Yes, I did say chicken. I'm not going to sing it, but I'm going to try and chase him down because I'm hungry.
You only have to sing
And
it if we
I'll give
say
it
it.
to you. That's right. So I'm gonna chase him down, and I'm gonna leave it to you to take us out. But good racing tonight, everybody, and I'll see y'all in Bristol.
Absolutely. One last big shout out to Randy Lapidus for showing up tonight, newcomer, and Jeremy Gaiman, season 3 champion, returning here in season 7 to try to show his worth. Put in some big fights early on. Unfortunately, wasn't able to come up with the W, but we expect to see him back. One last shout out to our sponsors, Tyler Daniels Racing. We race every night at 8 p.m. Eastern, and every now and then Saturday morning. Go find Tyler Daniels Racing on Facebook. Of course, B&B Wraps for providing 6 seasons worth of trophies and a commitment for season 7. Facebook.com/B.B Racing Wraps. From coffee cups to semi trucks, they can get it wrapped with you. McConeySetupShop.com for all their setups over the years, their setups, your victories, and of course, BACCcharities.com. Give back with back. Everyone tune in next Monday, 11:14. We will be at Bristol, same back time, same back channel, 8:20 p.m. Eastern. This is Tommy Upside Down Hebert on behalf of Back Sports with Jay Downham, and we will see you soon.